Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we are on episode 14.
Episode 14, man. Yes.
Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Got a lot to talk about. Don't we always have a lot to talk about?
I think so. I feel like every time we're done with an episode, like, hey, we probably talked about everything we could possibly talk about for eBay and Amazon. And then you go out there and you're in the field and you're buying stuff and you're doing things and you realize, man, this is a huge world, right? Like we've just touched the tip of the iceberg.
I agree. And it's kind of one of those things where you have items, right, that you tell people, hey, this will be sell for good money. But there's who knows how much is out there, right? And then not only that, but then it changes, right? Depending on the season, depending on whether it's Q4 or not, depending on a new hot toy, whatever it is, right? But we don't share hot new toys.
Yeah, no, don't do that. And if you haven't listened to episode 13, listen to that.
It was a fun one. So hopefully we don't have any crazy things happen during this episode.
Hopefully this is the lucky 14.
Is there a lucky 14?
I don't know. It's 7. 7's lucky.
Like 007 kind of?
I don't know. You're getting weird now.
All right.
But here we go.
Hey, let's get going. All right. So talk to me first about what you've been doing for Q4, right? Because that's what you said you were going to do, right? Since our last update episode.
Yeah. So Q4, starting to go out and do a little bit more sourcing of newer items, getting ready to get that stuff. Already have quite a few things listed on eBay. Going to list a few more things. Trying to get some stuff ready to send to Amazon. Please don't ask about that. So, but we've been buying some new items, going out and sourcing at different stores. And let me tell you some of the big items that I picked up for Q4.
You mean like retail items?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna.
Okay,
I'm not giving that out.
I think people got the point.
Got it. All right.
Okay.
But yeah, so no, it's been going good, and I think one of the big things we've done to get ready for Q4 is, and I kind of feel bad about this. This is like a bittersweet thing. We kicked my wife out of the garage. Her car no longer parks in the garage.
Who's we?
Well, it was me and my wife.
You and your inventory?
We
like you got along with your inventory?
Yeah,
like it's time to move on, honey.
Yeah. No, I mean, she was okay with it. You know, it's tough. She loves parking in the garage. It's convenient. It's nice. But we needed the space. So we went out and bought some shelving units and set those up and bought some totes. And so we're getting space ready, getting kind of a semi-office going out there because we know there's going to be a lot coming in and a lot going out.
Wow, you're moving like ahead.
You've got to.
Like,
right?
Think about where you were in June. Like, talk to me real quick. How were things in June? Like when you first started?
Yeah. I bought like 3 things. They sat on my table for a couple of days. Wasn't really good. I had to get them out in the garage. And there was like this little tiny corner of like some tools that I was able to stack the stuff on.
Okay.
And then from there, now the entire garage, I'll have to put up on our feed here pretty soon, a before and after picture of my garage. Cause it is, you know, we've got multiple shelving units now, several totes. We've got a whole organization system. We've got tables out there, a packing table. We got a table with our computer and a table. That table with the computer also has our Rolo printer. Like we're all set up. We got lighting out there. You
have a better setup than I do.
I'm serious about this,
like
man.
That is nice. And now, are you doing inventory too? Like you're organizing everything?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, we still have. We're not at so many items that we have to be over the top with the inventory. We do monitor what's in what bin, but it's easy enough to say like all women's clothing is in one bin, all shoes are in these 2 bins, all of the VCRs go on these shelves. There's going to come a point though when we're going to have multiple bins for each category.
Okay.
And so that's when I think we're going to have to start really focusing and kind of dialing in that.
That is intense.
What about you though? Because I know that was your thing, is you were going to organize your inventory. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I know. But hey, I have good news.
Let's hear it.
So, I don't know. Is this kind of sheep? I feel kind of sheepish saying this. So, I decided that I couldn't do it on my own.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, I decided to get a helper.
Nice.
And it's been awesome. Like, I did post. Some of you saw that on our Instagram a few posts ago where I sold a pair of shoes and it took me 20 seconds to find. Like, all I did is go to the custom SKU label, saw where it was located, went to that bin, opened that bin, found it, and good to go.
And when you say that, 20 seconds, I remember a few podcasts back. How long did it take you to find a certain pair?
About 30 minutes. And here's a funny thing. is like I kept pushing it off, right? So we talked about how sell quick, ship quick was keeping me accountable. And it's funny because after I said that on the last podcast, they made sure that they kept me accountable. And then on top of that, it was kind of like I kept having these negative experiences where like every shoe became a 20 to 30-minute fiasco.
Oh.
And so I remember every single time saying, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. This is going to get organized. And so odd enough, is that okay grammar?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Oddly enough, when I helped one of my former students, his mom actually said, "Hey, can you help me out with eBay?" I don't know if you saw that Instagram live
Right.
that I did. And after that, helping her out, her son approaches me and he goes, I wouldn't mind helping you out.
Nice.
And so we started talking and we started figuring out how it would go. And within a day or two, I started dropping off totes. He started organizing and I started using clear bags now, right? So I can actually take a look at what's in there. And here's the crazy thing about it is some of my inventory like wasn't on eBay.
Ooh. So you literally had just you were wasting space with stuff that wasn't listed.
Yeah, I don't even know how
Money
that
was on the
happened.
table and you just weren't grabbing it.
I'm talking about like some good stuff. I'm talking about like some lacrosse boots, some Keen sandals, some baseball gloves.
Oh,
And we're not done yet. And actually, I have found like in some totes, there's one side of a shoe and don't know where the other one is.
that's crazy.
And
So what were you doing? Were you like, was he pulling out the items and checking your listings to see if it was there? Like, how did you know they weren't listed?
great question. So there's a third-party program called InkFrog. And so part of it was eBay released a statement at this past eBay Open that they were going to make it possible for sellers to use Seller Hub with employees. And so the employees would have limited access. Well, then I heard it's not going to be till like 2019. And then I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of scary. This could go into 2020, right? And I'm hoping that January comes around and it's available. So I've heard that InkFrog offered this, and so I signed up for InkFrog, and they have like different tiers, and I think my tier is $29.99 a month, and first month is free. And so what you can do is you set up an account for people that work for you, or helpers. This is a helper, and you just set it up how much access you want to give them. So his access, all he can do is revise listings.
Okay.
Right. So he can go in there and like he can modify, where it's located in the custom SKU label.
Nice.
He actually one time found he couldn't find a certain glove on the listings, and he found out that I incorrectly put dimensions on there. And so he was able to revise that also, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been really helpful. So I set that up. So basically the way the system goes is I take a bunch of totes, I drop them off, and he just organizes them. Puts this custom SKU label, puts them in bags, and then calls me up and says, "Hey, Orlando, these bins are done. Come pick them up, and then I'll give them a new set." And then when that's done, he's also going to begin helping me with pictures.
Nice.
And so definitely going to start scaling up here.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I think you're at a place. I don't feel like you should feel bad about saying that you had to, hire a helper, bring on a helper, because, I mean, that's really where we all want to be, right? Like we all want to get to a place where eventually we're doing the part of this that we love the most, whether it's the sourcing, whether it's the packing and shipping, whether it's the listing, whatever it is that you enjoy most, and that you would be selling such a volume that you can hire people to help do the things that you don't necessarily enjoy as much, that aren't life-giving to you.
And it's funny because he knew that. He asked me, what will I be doing? And I explained it to him, and he goes, basically the things you don't want to do. And I said, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, welcome to the world, right? Like
I know.
That's basically what every boss gives you, right?
He is awesome. Like all I have is praise for this guy because he's been doing a top-notch job.
That's
and
cool.
It's going to be great because Q4, like I'll be able to scale up eBay and scale up Amazon and be organized.
Nice.
So really excited about it.
Very cool.
If you're wondering how to scale up, that's one of the ways you can do it.
Yeah, I was going to say while you were saying that about the saving time with the shoes, I was going to say, time saved is money earned in a sense, but then that kind of sounds like a quote, and that would not be my quote of the week because I have a different quote of the week. Are you ready for this?
I guess I have to be.
Yeah, I mean, It's an important part of our episode. I think it might be the most important part of our episode. So here we go. Quote of the week. This is a Benjamin Franklin quote. Did you saw something?
I did. I purposely set it up because we've always been waiting for the cha-ching, and we finally got it on an episode.
Yeah. Well, how come you had to hold your phone? Like you knew it was coming?
I knew it was because it's an offer.
Ah, nice.
So I just sold a pair of Doc Martens that I forget what I paid for these, like $25, and I listed them for $106, and they sent me an offer of around $90.
Nice.
That's a good offer.
That is good.
And look at this. Look at what's here. What's that say?
Custom label.
And it's located somewhere.
Nice. Oh, I need to start using that. We don't have so many totes that it's necessary at this point, but I figure that the earlier we do that, the better, because then we won't have to hire a helper to do the stuff we didn't do in the past.
So anyway, sorry to interrupt, but I thought that was a good interruption.
That was a good interruption.
And I want to hear a quote anyways.
I know you hate the quote of the...
Okay, anyways, go ahead. All right.
Here we go. So, Benjamin Franklin quote here. It is, tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I'll learn.
Wait, didn't Confucius say something like that?
I don't know, but
it was, years, like 2,000-3,000 years before, like something similar.
You know, I think everything that is said has already been said by somebody.
Like give a man a fish. And something else, and the last one is like teaching a fish, and he'll always have fish.
Yeah, I basically think
totally wrong. And actually, I'm a former world history teacher, but I know there's a Confucius quote similar to that.
For sure, I think there is, and that's what I'm like. There are principles that are kind of like truths in life that people will reword and say multiple times, which is why I love quotes. Is because they take good quotes, take these concepts, these truths, and put them in a concise way that's interesting to us. And I think this one is good for us for this podcast because. One as a teacher, that quote's important to me, right? This idea of teaching and just, telling somebody or trying to teach them isn't the best way to actually really teach them, that you have to involve somebody in the process.
Okay, I could be wrong. Wait, I got to interrupt you.
Again, sorry.
Okay. I don't know. It looks like I don't know. It's somebody in Asia. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, the fish one, but that's a little different.
I don't think it's Confucius. It could be the internet saying all kinds of things. So we're just gonna leave it at. We're gonna enjoy your Ben Franklin quote. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, it's different enough. It's unique.
Okay.
So,
all right, finish what you're saying. Sorry.
It's all right. So I think it relates to our podcast in the sense that we don't want this podcast to just be Orlando and I simply telling you things. We don't want to either just teach you things. We want to involve you, and we want to be involved in what you're doing. We think the more involved this community is, the more we're actually going to learn. So if we're just putting out information and you listen to it, maybe you'll take some of it and be able to apply it. But if you're giving us your hustles of the week, if you're asking us questions, if we get to ask you questions, when it actually is something we're all involved in together, we're going to learn much, much better and more deeply than we would otherwise. So.
Wow.
There you go.
That was really good.
See, I'm telling you, the quotes are important. They bring up these things that...
Maybe we got to put it on Insta story. Like, do you like Mike's quotes of the week?
I'm afraid because I would hate for people to say no. I'd probably cry.
Maybe we'll do the little bar where it like shows love. But then maybe it won't go anywhere.
Let's do the yes or no. Yeah, let's do the yes or no. And if you want to hurt my feelings and crush me as a human being, go ahead and say no. Or if you really don't like them. But if you love them, say yes. And if you don't care either way, well,
Okay, we'll figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, let us know.
But you're right. Like, it's awesome when people contact us, but I also want to make sure that people understand, like, the best thing for you to do is to just Google. I know that sounds crazy. It's funny. Gary Vee actually said that a week ago. He was watching something and he said...
Wait, is this a Gary Vee quote you're giving right now?
No. He said just Google
So
it.
Here we go. This is Orlando's Gary Vee quote of the week.
No. But he said, if you can't Google it, you can't ask for the things I'm telling you should do, which he's right? Like part of this online business is you can't get all the answers from everyone, right? I mean, there's people you can pay and so on, and it's a shortcut for you to get answers. But the best way to grow your business, like you said, is to just figure it out, right, on your own, right? That's how you've kind of been learning. Like I've noticed with you, Mike, like you don't like ask me anymore. Like sometimes you tell me stuff, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Like Mike figured that out and I never even heard about it. So I want to encourage you all. You just got to jump in and you just got to, research and figure it out.
Absolutely.
All right. So,
But we'll be your Google
no,
shortcut too along the way.
well, yeah. But, I always want to encourage people. Anyway, we went down that road. Okay.
Oh, here we go. What's
So,
next?
talk to me about oh, no, wait. I didn't finish it. I was supposed to travel. Remember, that was my thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll keep it short. I didn't go very far. What ended up happening is for the last 2 weeks, there was always something I had to stay in the area for. Whether, my son had like a school event or I had too much stuff in my car and I had to just go back and pack it for FBA, which has been pretty awesome. Like the fact that I've been able to stay local and pick up a bunch of inventory from all kinds of different places, like has been awesome. So I still want that road trip. I'm actually looking to possibly renting a van like the week before Black Friday and just like hitting all kinds of
You've got to
places.
document the whole thing. And I think along the way, you should like not shave and just let your beard grow out. And it could be this like epic quest.
I already look crazy enough. You know that, right? Okay. That would not, I mean.
Oh, what's wrong with the beard?
Remember last episode we're talking about me going back to strangers' homes for inventory?
I remember that.
Okay, so imagine that with the beard.
It's true.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So that's it. That's just my update. I mean, just a lot of good inventory. It's been nice because now that I'm doing this full time, like I can spend the time and go to these places. Because I remember last year when I was, at the other job, it was tough, man. I remember like working from 6:30 in the morning, getting home at like, I don't know, 5 or 6, and then going, hey, son, you want to go to Toys R Us? Yep. And then spending 2-3 hours at Toys R Us and then packing stuff all night. I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah.
So it's good.
It is. Yeah. No, I know.
I know you know.
I'm there right now doing that. And who knows? I mean, I don't have any plans in the near future of necessarily doing this full time. I think it's an incredible supplemental income for me. But if I'm starting to bring in 6 figures, who knows, right?
Who knows? 6 figures net.
Yeah, 6 figures net. Yeah, net's what's important. Gross is gross.
It's gross. All right. Yeah. Okay, so let's share some little stories here. Tell me about your Nevada trip. Not about the trip itself, but about like your thrifting and stuff. Because you said you went to a few thrift stores.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I went to Nevada to visit some family, and it was a long drive. I'm talking like it was 10 hours to get there, 10 or 11 hours to get there. And one of the days that I was there, I was talking to my brothers, and I was like, "Hey, I really want to go to a thrift store while I'm here. Do you guys know of any in the area?" And they're like, "Sure, we'll take you over there." So we went to like 3 thrift stores, and when we got to the third one, it was closed. And we actually called a 4th one, and they were closed too. But the first 2 I went to, owned by the same company, man, it was amazing. Like, so it was a local thrift store.
Was it like Deseret or Savers?
No, it was called Out of Egypt, I think.
Out of Egypt.
Out of Egypt, yeah. So it was a Christian thrift store. So I mean, the employees were fantastic.
Like Out of Egypt, like the Exodus.
Yeah, like Exodus. Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I felt like the name was pretty clever. So.
Okay. All right. So it was an awesome store.
It was amazing. They had 2 stores. The first store was just like a regular store. Like imagine walking into a Salvation Army or a Goodwill or something like that. Okay. And then my brothers were saying, but just wait, they have a warehouse. And I was like, oh, wow. This is gonna be amazing. So we get to the first store. And everything was 50% off. It was Memorial Day weekend, and it was everything 50% off. And I was like, yeah, that's good. I like to hear that. And for whatever reason, the employee that was working there, super nice, older gentleman. And as I'm like putting stuff in the cart and I'm like talking to him about it, like he's offering me more deals. He's like, like if you buy all 4 of these, I could probably even mark them down a little more. So, wow. I mean, I'm filling up my cart.
That is amazing.
And that was his thing. He says, I hope you fill up your cart today. And I was like, me too. And I did. Like the first place, I was probably only there for like 35 minutes, but I filled my cart up. I got a vintage typewriter for like $3 that it works perfect. I tested it out. That's and awesome. The comps are going for like 120. I got like 5 pairs of shoes. I picked up like a bunch of unopened ink cartridges for printers, like just tons of stuff, probably like $300 or $400 worth of profit. And I think I paid $20. At the end, he was like, how does 1950 sound? And I was like, sounds amazing.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, it was great. So I was really excited about that. And then I went to the warehouse, and that was incredible. But the moment we walked in the door, they were like, we're closing in 5 minutes. And they were already starting to shut off lights. So I'm literally running aisle to aisle, like, trying to find.
So when you say warehouse, are you talking about like Costco style warehouse? Are you talking about like, let's say maybe like, I don't know, like a quarter the size of a Costco warehouse?
It was huge. Let's see. Um, probably about half of a Costco.
That's
It
huge.
was huge, and I mean, there was no decorations. It was definitely not like, trying to be boutique. It was just basically shelving units full of stuff, the entire place. Same thing, everything was 50% off,
Do
and
we need to make a road trip?
it was pretty awesome. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I was only able to be in there long enough because they were like, we're closing," and I'm like, "I'm trying," and I'm, like, looking at stuff. So I only probably saw, like, 5% of the store, walked out with a couple of things, but it was really neat, and I think that's just a way
Huh.
to say, out of my total trip, I probably spent, an hour at thrift stores. I got to take my brothers with me. So if you're on a road trip, don't hesitate to stop in for a couple minutes somewhere. You never know what a few minutes will do, especially if you're with the family. I mean, just make it a family event.
So what do your brothers think about what you're doing?
Oh, they love it. They think it's really cool. I was trying to teach them a little bit what I was doing, like showing them how I look stuff up
So
on
the
eBay.
older, younger?
They're a few years younger than me,
Okay,
so yeah,
okay.
I'm the oldest. But they were just having a blast, like buying stuff for themselves. Like they bought some like sports stuff, some basketballs, and I don't know,
Nice.
skateboard and baseball and some gloves, and they just bought a bunch of stuff for themselves, and they had a fun time. And I think they spent like $5 or $6. Everything was so cheap, it was crazy.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I think I wanna go out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that might be a honey hole. I might. We'll have
Well,
to. I'll share it with
we
you.
did
I'll
give the
share it
name
with you.
out there. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what
Out of Egypt, there it is. So if you're in Nevada, look up Out of Egypt. They're great. Their prices were amazing. Great Christian company, so that everybody was super friendly. It was nice. We liked it.
wow. I'm pretty amazed. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so I don't have that much of a story. Mine was just the organizing the inventory. And so next step, actually, to add to that, is I'm happy to get all these toys out of storage.
Mm,
So while I was at Toys R Us, I held on to a lot of stuff,
yep.
right? Because I was worried about the Amazon IPI. Remember that
Mm,
thing we talked
yep.
about? I'm still worried about it. Here's the funny thing. I emailed Amazon because I'm a little concerned, right? Because I got an email in early August saying you're good to go, unlimited storage.
Mm,
But then I know that they check up on you again right before the end of the third quarter. So I thought I'd shoot them an email. And here's what's funny. I send them an email and I go, hey, just to let you know, I'm doing my best, but it seems I keep selling out of items. I received an email back on the 15th of August saying that I was all good to go, but I'm just worried that maybe my IPI might drop and I will lose that unlimited storage. I'm hoping that's not the case. Could you please let me know, what I should be thinking about doing? So they email me back and they say, yes, you have unlimited storage, but your score may drop and you may not have unlimited storage. Just keep working on it.
that's a good answer. That sounds like an answer I would give somebody.
There was no answer.
No, it's great. You're fine now. You might not be fine. Keep up.
What is
Do your
that?
job right.
I
I
was
mean, what do
so
you want? I mean, the only other thing I
I
could
wanted
say
it in
is,
writing that said, "You are good to go."
so you wanted the answer you wanted.
You're right.
Okay.
That's what I wanted, and I didn't get it. So I'm working on it. I'm sure I'll be fine. There's a lot of junk. So those of you that are starting Amazon FBA, please make sure you check rankings because now it's really important. Because when I started, I was buying all stuff had 700,000 rank, and I'd make $60 if it sold. I'm like, sure, send it to the warehouse.
Yep.
So I have all these items that now I'm just disposing of.
Is
Like I
it
wouldn't even get it sent back to me.
really?
Yeah, because I could try to sell it on eBay, but then I got to store it somewhere.
Ah,
And since it's such high ranking, like who knows how long it'll
it's
take.
true.
And they're not major. I would say they're not major money makers that it's worth enough for me to store, or things I don't care about. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So, anyways, all right. So let's get some current
Current
topics.
topics. Let's hear it.
So on the freeway, do you know where the Toys R Us used to be?
Yep.
Right? Have you seen the new sign that says like Halloween City, Toy City?
Haven't noticed. I'm oblivious when I'm driving. There could be a moose walking in the road, and I would drive right past it and not even notice.
But you
And
drove
there's
to,
no,
but you drove to Nevada.
there's no moose. There's no mooses in in this area.
Yeah, but there's only a bunch of people on the road.
Yeah. So, well, I notice cars, but I don't notice other
That's
things.
good. So it kind of intrigued me. I saw it and I'm like, hey, I want to go. And I went and, there was nothing there. But I did a little bit of research. And so what's happening is Party City's gotten into the game. So not only are we going to have possible KB pop-ups, we're going to have now Toy City,
Huh.
which will be interesting.
I just wonder though, what are the prices going to be like?
I don't know. That's a big deal.
I kind of feel like, are they going to be inflated? Because, I don't know. I feel like sometimes those ones that pop up in the middle of the mall and they're selling like, some board games and calendars and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know what
I
you're
feel
talking
like the
about.
prices are always so high because it's like, hey, this is a novelty thing and it's that time of the year and people just want a quick stop and they'll pay whatever. One of the nice things with places like Walmart and Target and Toys R Us is the prices were pretty consistent year round.
Not Toys R Us.
Well, I'm talking past
There's a
tense
reason why
now.
Toys R Us doesn't exist.
Yeah, well,
Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
there may be more financially going on there, that more than just the pricing.
Okay. All right, let's go. I don't even know where you're going with that. All right, let's go back to okay. So Walmart and Target.
Walmart and Target. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I just worry when you see these things pop up. Are their prices going to be, crazy high, selling weird toys, or is it going to be basically another Toys R Us with Toys R Us like prices?
I agree. And are they gonna have sales? Are they gonna have items that you'll be able to source for Q4, or is it just it's a lost
Right.
cause? Right. And so I don't know. I just, I'm just intrigued because I did here's the weird thing. I was at a Marshall's one day and they were like, oh yeah, we got the bid for Toys R Us.
Hmm.
And I asked them, I said, well, what are you talking about? You got the bid. And they said, well, Toys R Us is trying to sell all the toys that were in warehouses that they weren't able to sell. And Marshall's got the bid for them. And I thought, interesting. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's going to be a lot of toys. And I've been going there and there hasn't been a change. Now, maybe it's going to get flooded in October, November. Don't know. But I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I always wonder that because there are certain brands that have contracts with places, with retailers, even with Sears going out, right? Like Sears had, what was it, Craftsman?
Yes.
That I know because I remember, having friends that worked at Home Depot and like Home Depot they've been desperately trying to get Craftsman and Sears had that. They had that. Like they
Yeah.
had the market on it. So, and I know you picked up some Craftsman stuff when Sears closed. So now the question is, who gets them, right? Like who's going to be the new source of that, and are the prices going to be similar, better, different?
I don't know. I did watch, there was a video on YouTube about Toy City, somewhere like in New Jersey or something, and somebody visited the store and they had all current toys. They didn't talk about prices, but it seemed like they were gonna have. It's not gonna be like the mall, those mall toy
Right.
stores
Yeah.
where it's like the chintzy, like private label stuff.
Yeah, really bizarre.
Yeah, like
not
the car
name
that keeps
brand.
rolling over,
Yeah.
or the light that goes in the sky, or whatever it is. Like they were legitimate toys. So yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what the prices are going to be. So, all right. So how's Poshmark going? Because I wanted to talk about like the rise of Mercari and Poshmark. Talk to me a little bit.
Yeah, Poshmark has been great. We've sold quite a few things on Poshmark that we've had listed on both eBay and Poshmark, kind of doing the cross listing thing, which can be a little scary, right? Like something sells and it's like a race to get it off the other one because I think it'd be really rare. I think that somebody would purchase something on one platform and then immediately some other person would purchase the same item, but it could happen.
It has happened. It's happened to me.
Oh,
So I don't know if you guys know about Bonanza. I haven't told you about Bonanza.
uh-uh.
So Bonanza is another platform, and it's not the best. But Bonanza, you can actually import all your eBay listings into that platform. And I'll get a Bonanza sale. It's been a long time. I want to say it's been about 2 months, but there was a time I'd get 1 to 3 sales, and they usually were like big sales. Actually, my biggest multiple item sale was in Bonanza. Like somebody bought, I think, like 15 items.
Wow.
Like it was
Like
all
almost
my
out of your store, like they went into it.
yeah, it was weird. They bought all my Ninja Turtle shirts and hats and they just went all out. So Bonanza lets you import their items, and then when they sell, they remove them off of eBay for you.
Wow.
Now
that's
I
nice.
don't know if that's the case anymore because I know I've heard other resellers saying I'm done with Bonanza because they've had items sell on Bonanza, didn't get pulled off of eBay, and then it's sold on eBay.
Oh.
And that's happened to me actually a couple times too.
Yeah, no, that'd be terrible. Luckily, we haven't had that yet. We got close on Poshmark where somebody on Poshmark gave us an offer on an item. We counter offered, and there was like, whatever it is, 24, 48-hour period where that counter offer is available. And then that item sold on eBay. Sold on eBay, right? And it's like, well,
I mean, that's good.
It's good, but the problem is there's still a counter offer out that we made, and we could not delete the listing. We couldn't delete the listing off Poshmark because there was an open counter offer from us. Yeah, no. So luckily, the person declined the counter offer, and we were able to get rid of it. And actually, I think we found a way to remove the listing through like some backdoor channels. which worked out for us. But yeah, luckily we didn't run into that issue. But Poshmark has been doing good. We've sold quite a few items that have been sitting in our eBay store for a couple months now, and within a week or two being posted on Poshmark, they're selling. So it's good.
Ah.
It's a lot of work. My
So
wife.
you're saying it's definitely
It's
like
it's
worth the cross posting.
it's worth the cross posting, I believe. I don't know if it's a platform for everyone. I think it takes a lot of work to get going. My wife spends hours every day while she's on her phone
Yeah.
posting and or not posting, like sharing other people's stuff and liking people's stuff and being part of posh parties, which is where you're sharing certain items and
That just cracks me up. Posh parties.
posh parties. It's got a good ring to it, kind of like Pure Hustle podcast.
I get it.
It's
I
got
get
that.
it. Just Poshmark, like they have Posh Fest, and
Yeah.
it just seems that Poshmark is really doing a great job marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and I think they're targeting a certain audience, and I think their marketing is genius for that audience.
So, and that's good because people are noticing. It's kind of like Mercari too. Have you seen the Mercari like billboard signs?
I haven't seen any billboard signs. Remember, I'm oblivious when I'm driving.
Okay.
I don't
So
see billboard
here in
signs.
San Diego, there's like these like lavender signs, and they actually are like it's like Mercari, and it's like sell, and it's aimed for sellers, not for buyers.
So, do you have any experience with Mercari? I've
I
never
do.
done anything with Mercari. So,
So years ago, I ended up. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone right now. Apologies. So I had a listener just message us on eBay,
oh,
and it
nice.
was like about remember that mascot that goat. Remember that like plush? We talked about it.
Yes, yeah.
They're like, hey, heard about this on your podcast. I guess they found our store, and then they said you should mention like these key words like build a goat. So whoever you are out there, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
So I needed to share that. Okay, I'm done. All right. So Mercari. Now, Mercari was huge, I remember, in Japan, I think.
Okay.
And then it came to the States. And I remember I jumped on Mercari like right away because there are some resellers who were like, man, stuff on Mercari is selling really fast. And I got really excited about it. And I got on there and I sold a few things. And it was good, but it was one of those things where I was contemplating, like, is it worth the effort? Because I remember Mercari is only mobile based. And I think
Okay.
it's still that way. Like, you can't get it on a desktop or anything. You can only do it on your phone.
But who uses desktop anymore? I know you do.
I know I do. I won't laptop, MacBook, okay?
Right.
MacBook. But I feel more comfortable. There's like a lot more, like if eBay got its, I don't want to say its act together, but if eBay just got with the program and just allowed the same functionality on the app as on the desktop.
I don't know if that's ever possible. I do think that like a desktop or a laptop allows that interface allows for a lot more options, and it's just a bigger screen and you can click on more buttons. But I think for the most part for eBay, I think I've been on the website maybe a handful of times to set up the store and a few other things like that. But almost everything I post, pictures, all of it is directly in the eBay app.
Yeah, but for instance, when something sells and I want to send an invoice, like I can't send an invoice via the app.
Ah, that's true.
Like
That's
how
true.
basic is that? All I have to do is press an option and I should be able to like look at the invoice and add whatever I want and just send it. Like it's not
What do you mean by
hard.
send an invoice?
So
Like
when
a
I say,
reminder for them to pay?
well, okay, so there's the reminder, but I find that people pay like quickly if I send an invoice.
Gotcha.
Right? So the invoice is basically like this is the cost of the item, this is the cost of shipping, this is the total, and then you can like I leave a message. I usually just say thank you for your purchase, exclamation point, and I send it, and usually people pay.
Okay.
Or if somebody buys like multiple items, like I can reduce the shipping and send them the invoice. Right? But if I'm on the road, I can't do any of those things.
Right.
Or I've had people, and I know we go back and forth, they send me a best offer and they say, here's my offer, but no shipping. Right? And some people get annoyed. I don't get annoyed if it's an item I don't mind selling, but I can't adjust that unless I go to the invoice. And so you're kind of stuck. And so you may lose that sale if you don't react quick enough.
I could see that. Yeah. There's some functionality there.
So going
But
back
I think
to
I need to get on
Mercari.
Mercari because I'm okay with full app.
Well, I have a ton of people of DM me saying Mercari. So I'm going like, okay, is this just a fad? Like, is Poshmark a fad? Or are these players here to stay?
Maybe, but let's go back to your Gary Vee guy. What would he say about a new platform coming out.
Why? Gary Vee is not the end though. He has a lot of good stuff.
I agree. But you love quoting him. So like,
I do.
what would his, if he were to give you like a
I know, you got to be on all platforms. I get it.
All platforms.
Okay. So,
because you never know, right?
I know, but I'll never forget, like Mercari. I remember I told myself, anytime there's spare time, like I'm going to list on Mercari. So I remember I'd be in line, you know, at Costco gas waiting for my car, and I'd be listing on Mercari. And then I remember I'd be at the movie theater and I'd be listing on Mercari. And I just wasn't getting the sales. Now, this was like, I don't know, I want to say a year and a half ago. So maybe now it's a game changer. So let's do this. I'm going to list 10 items on Mercari. Is that good enough?
Let's do 20. Let's each do 20. I'll set up a Mercari. We'll each do 20. And on our next update episode, we'll talk about how it went.
Okay, let's do that.
Boom. The Mercari Challenge, the Pure Hustle Podcast, Mercari Challenge. Hey, you guys do the same. If you've never tried Mercari, try it, right? List 10 items, list 20 items, and then let us know. Put in your feed how it's going, and then tag us, Pure Hustle Podcast, and let us know how your Mercari Challenge is going.
Wow, we are expanding. You know that? We started with just, our first episode was just about eBay. Then we got Amazon. Then we got Poshmark. We talked about local, and now we're going Mercari.
I mean, who knows, right? Like, the thing is, we want to help the most amount of people, and somebody might find that, like, hey, eBay's not for me, but I love Poshmark.
But that's our thing. We're Pure Hustle Podcast, right? So our thing is, hey, we want to talk about those hustles that allow you to level up your standard of living.
Yep. And hustling could be any number of things.
Yeah, and down the road, once we get a few episodes under our belt, we definitely want to bring in other people that have different kind of hustles too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that's like in the future. We want some people listening to us before we get some guests on the show.
I agree.
You think?
I think we have an amazing listener group, though.
No, we do. Listen, you guys are awesome. It's the support we get. We love it. So, you know what? Since we're talking about that, let's talk about our t-shirt giveaway.
T-shirt giveaway. Okay. Awesome. Wearing them right now.
That's why we're representing. All right. So we want to give away 5 t-shirts. Okay. So this is how you can get your t-shirt. So we always want to show love to those episodes that people aren't, caring about too much. What episode do you think right now is the one that needs a little bit of love?
Is it episode 5, I believe?
Episode 5. What's episode 5? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Was it the global shipping?
Yeah, see, you remember. Shipping. Okay. Yeah. So it used to be episode 3, which was about research. And for a reason, maybe people are like, I got this, I don't need to listen. But I've had a lot of people say, hey, I listened to your podcast about global shipping, I'm doing it, and I've gotten sales out of it.
I've probably sold, I'd say probably 5% of my sales now are global shipping.
Okay, so
it's amazing.
So here's how you get your shirt. So I'm going to post this on Insta right before our episode is released. Okay, well, maybe, because sometimes you release them, like you upload them, and then I don't find out until like 2 hours later. So I don't know how it's going to work. Okay, but the first 5 people to DM us and let us know what country did I sell a pair of Kill Bill shoes to. Okay, again, what country did I sell a pair of Kill Bill shoes to?
Did you sell them to the country, or did you
sell
them
to
the
I
country?
sold them to somebody that lived in that country.
Gotcha.
No. And it was a great sale. So if you don't know, get on episode 5, get that answer in the first 5. And then after that, we'll send you the shirt.
Yeah. Now, how did we decide they were gonna
let us know that they got the shirt?
No, not the shirt. Did you say DM, or are we gonna do feed?
Oh, you know what? That's right. Okay, I totally messed up this one.
That's all right.
Sorry. Okay. So this is what we want.
Rule change.
Rule change. We want you to be creative by tagging us on the feed the country that those shoes were sent to.
Yeah, be creative with it. Make it, Pure Hustle Podcast. Add the country. Do something cool on there. Tag us. The first 5 that we're tagged on, t-shirt to you.
All right, you got that? So we have sizes in medium, large, and extra large. Okay, and if you need other sizes, let us know. We have a limited supply, but we just want to go out there and show some love. So let's repeat that one more time. On your Insta feed, tag us and then let us know what country those shoes were sent to in some kind of creative way. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Who knows what we'll get?
Yeah, go crazy. I want to see somebody do something amazing.
There you go. All right. So let's get back to where we were.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Target. Do you want to talk about Target a little bit?
What are we gonna talk about? Target.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so
you know,
Target.
Target's one of those. We were at Target today,
We
right?
were. Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about that too a little bit because like Target's kind of like tightening things on resellers, don't you
Yeah,
think?
they are, and coming off of last episode where we're talking about, don't be ashamed of being a reseller. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong. We're providing a service. There are some people who disagree, like our friend who is probably listening to this right now, who's like, no, stop buying stuff and reselling for
Yes,
Q4.
yes, yes, yes.
But you know, it's the I get it. I get both sides. I try to be realistic. I understand the purpose of putting a 5 limit, restriction on an item, right? It makes sense to me. You wanna make sure that other people can come in and that somebody isn't buying all of them in one go. It does make sense to me, but at the same time, I also, as a reseller, understand that perspective and why, you know, just get more in stock and sell some more, right?
I agree. I mean, that's basically how capitalism
Yeah,
functions,
it's
right?
supply and
Supply and
demand.
demand.
Yep.
So what's happening now is I posted this today on our Insta, like the sign, like
Mm.
we reserve the right or something like that to limit the quantities of items you buy. Think about that. Like they're shortcutting their business.
Well, and what if you weren't a reseller? What if you're a grandparent that's got I think my grandpa has 26 grandkids,
Wow.
of various ages, so of course you wouldn't be buying a toy for, all one.
Unless they were into toys and they're older.
Or yeah, you're buying for yeah, I mean, it's not unrealistic, I don't think, for somebody to go in and want 6 of a toy. So what if it was, restriction being put on just a customer who's buying it for their own use or for gifts? There, and from a business standpoint, if the demand is there, they should be happy to just be getting them off the shelf and putting them as many as they can back on the shelf as possible.
I mean, the greatest thing that could happen to business is that there's a demand and you're low in supply and you know that eventually you'll be able to refill that supply.
And realistically, and I don't know, I haven't worked enough in retail to know how it all works behind the scenes of places like Target, but if the demand is there and you have to limit the number that people can be buying on something, maybe the price is too low.
Yeah, it could be. Let's not go there though.
No, I mean, we're talking about capitalism. Of course, we don't want them to recognize that as resellers, but realistically, if it's selling off the shelves and they can't keep it in stock, they probably have priced it wrong.
True, true. I just to me, it's always those things where like, aren't we as resellers customers too?
We are customers.
That's what bothers me.
I'm giving them money,
They're
a
always
lot of money.
they're always making that argument that hey, we want to make sure that all these items are available for everyone. Okay, so hey, I'm just gonna read what the sign itself said. Okay, because I
Did
don't
you
know.
notice at the bottom of that sign was about liquor?
I did, I did. So maybe there's people buying a lot of liquor. Who
Yeah.
knows? So, okay, here, I'm going to read it right now. So, they said to ensure that all of our guests have an opportunity to purchase certain products, we reserve the right to limit quantities on those items. Right. And here's the thing like, no one is stopping anyone from buying those products. Right. The reality is, if they can't get it at Target, they're going to go to Walmart or they're going to go to Toy City or KB or Amazon. See, so to me, the logic doesn't make sense, but I want to keep it positive. So let's keep it positive. Number one, if you're a reseller and you're going to Target, be careful. Like, don't spoil it for others,
Mm.
right? I don't know. You've probably seen our post on Insta by this time, right? Where I call out Mike and I go, "Hey, Mike, are you gonna resell those on Amazon? Like, don't do that, or don't end up causing a fuss. That's the thing that really kills it because what ends up happening is one reseller goes in and causes a fuss at Target, and then it just spoils it for our other resellers
Right.
because we're all given this bad title,
Mm.
right? So I just want to make sure we're aware of that.
Our pictures are going to end up in the on Target, right in there.
See, but I was scared about that today. Like when I was wearing that reseller sign today, I'm like, dude, what if their assets protection or loss prevention has a camera on me and now it's gonna be posted throughout the country? Like, watch out for these guys
They're committing the crime of buying products from us.
to resell. to support their business.
Honestly, do they care what happens with any of the products they buy once it leaves their store?
The reality is, no, they don't care about the bottom. I worked for Target for like 4 or 5 years.
I mean, if as a business, like for instance, if you buy towels, like nice towels from Target, and then you take them and you use them for drying your car or in a shop, they shouldn't be able to say like, oh, you're not using them for their intended purpose, right? Like you bought the item, it's yours. Do what you want with it. And if I want to sell it, I'm gonna sell it.
I agree. So number 2, strike up relationships with people there. That can go a long way, right? Because there are some places that have Targets that I go into and they know me, and to them, they're like, hey, you know what? We'll sell this to you because we know that you're going to get it to people that want it, right? And the other thing is self-checkout. Self-checkout is your friend. You got to be quick about it, though, okay? Like I always say, like once you find what you need, you get that stuff in your cart, and you go to checkout and you get in your car.
That's so weird. I feel like you're making. Maybe I just haven't bought enough stuff where I have to feel shady about it, but it almost feels shady the way you're describing it.
That's how Target makes you feel. Like,
but is that you feeling that way, or is it really pressure coming from Target?
I've been there. Like, I've had people approach me and say, "You can't buy any more of these." I've had people say, "I'm sorry, can't do this for you." And then you're stuck. So, like, sometimes I'll go to the registers and I'm looking for that person I think isn't going to care. And I approach and I try to ring stuff up before I see one of their GSTLs, or guest service team leaders. That's what they're called anymore. And, that's just the way it is.
Because I remember I worked at Target for a little while.
You did too?
I did, yeah. I worked at Target.
See, and I worked loss prevention too.
Did you? I mean, so you got the inside scoop on this. So when I worked at Target, I remember resellers coming through. I never cared, right? I rang their stuff up. And I remember Black Friday. I mean, I had one guy who came up. I was working the register. It was like as soon as the store opened, like people run in, they go grab stuff. And I think he had like 6 carts of things. And yeah, it was like 20 of one video game and 5 of this video game and 4 TVs and everything that was like the limit he was getting. And I just kind of smiled like, sweet, like good for you, bud. Like, I don't know. I didn't.
You see, but you're the guy I would want at the register.
But I don't think, and I think you're right by saying like, okay, maybe a lead might say something, but I can't imagine any just regular employee is going to care, right? If you're not doing anything wrong.
Because there's always that like person
who's like, what are you buying this for?
Oh yeah. No, come on. You know those kind of people in your life. Like they have no other reason but then just to check on people and just bust people. Like, that's just the way they live.
But we're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing to bust.
I know. But I guess that's how... Didn't you feel that a little bit today when we were shooting our videos?
Okay, we were shooting videos in the store. It's a little different, but even that, I was comfortable because people... I mean, we weren't being disruptive. We didn't do anything to disrupt other customers' experience.
Plus the fact that in every other aisle... They're doing inventory. So there's Target employees all around us.
They were
scary.
But nobody came up and said anything, right? Because we weren't doing anything disruptive. I mean, I feel like I'm more disturbed when I'm somewhere and people are talking on, FaceTime and they're walking around and they're like yelling their conversation. And like, if people can do that, like, why not record? We're not... If we were like getting on bikes and having a bike race in the store, that'd be different.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun, but that I feel like would be okay. Like you guys got to go. But I think a customer who comes in, fills up a cart with stuff, pays for the stuff and leaves. That's what any business wants.
Right? No, I know. And maybe this is just me. I had some negative experiences, and I know other resellers have too. And there's other resellers that have talked about like they've had managers help them out.
Yeah. Let us know. Like, what are you guys at on this? Have you had bad experiences at any specific retailers? Have you had positive experiences? Going back to our last episode, do you feel like people care that you're a reseller? Do you tell people you're a reseller? Let us know. Either shoot us a DM, put something on your feed and tag us, and let's get this conversation going. Because again, we're experiencing this at Target, but maybe you're recognizing that this is now starting to happen at Marshall's or some other place. Let everybody know so we can kind of all protect the community, as it were.
There you go. Neighborhood watch.
That's right. We are the reseller watch.
All right. Okay, 2 more current topics, and we got to move on to our hustle of the week. So, hey, eBay had this awesome announcement today that basically said that all sales tax will be taken care of by them.
Oh, that's
Now, okay,
amazing.
let me
Because
rephrase
I'm
that.
stressing about
What
that.
did you hear when I just said that?
That they're taking care of the sales tax?
Okay,
Okay, I understand that you're thinking that, okay, I know eBay's not paying the sales tax.
Okay, good. Let's make that clear.
They're gonna manage the system and make sure customers are paying it, and we don't have to track that.
That's how it read.
Perfect.
And I think other platforms like Etsy and others do that, which that is awesome.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's
if
great.
that's the case, if eBay's doing that, that's an applause right
Yeah,
there.
because honestly, little stressed right now, to be honest, about upcoming tax season.
Yeah, you know, so am I. Because it's one of those things. I finally have a CPA, and maybe it'll be good, or I don't know. It can't be any worse than last summer when I got this letter in the mail that said I owed $1,300. That was terrible.
Yeah, that's not. I mean,
TurboTax.
Oh, that was from. Were you in the green or the red on the risk factor? Because you know how
I was like totally in the
factor?
green. Like no one's gonna bother me.
That's a bummer.
It was crazy. So I'm always like hesitant now. Am I gonna get another letter? Because it was from a return from 2015.
Yeah, and that happened to you last year?
Last summer.
Because I think from what I heard, I know, and I could be wrong on these numbers. I know, like if you're in an audit, they can go back like 7 years.
Wow.
But typically, they only to flag an audit or what they look at for the most part, I think is 2 years. So after on the third year, they're not going to be looking at the 3 years back. So it's like every two, like they'll look at the 2 years back on regular basis on a random audit draw.
Okay.
But if you get pulled for a random audit and they're digging in deep, then they could start asking for up to 7 years back. I could be wrong. I'm not a tax professional.
We offer no tax or legal advice, period.
At all. And that's legal binding right there.
0. Okay. All right. So good for eBay.
And good for us.
All right. Supplies for Q4. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Are you ready? Like, do you have supplies?
Oh, do I have supply? What? Like we talked about, like sourcing, or
no? Like, do you have all your padded envelopes? Do you have your boxes?
Just got a huge shipment of USPS boxes,
Nice.
and starting to buy. We've got when we set up our garage, we have a whole little desk area thing that's got little bins that you can pull out, and we've got tape, and we've got eBay tape.
I'm so jealous.
It's pretty
You're
awesome.
so organized.
I'm trying to be. And I saw this thing. So we've been using, because we reuse boxes. So we've shipped stuff in I think the mega blocks that I shipped out not too long ago, I shipped out in an Honest Diapers box, right? Like, so people are going to get these boxes and Honest Diapers. So we put a strip of eBay tape over stuff just to know. But I saw something and I don't remember whose Insta feed it was. Maybe I'll if we find it, we'll shout them out. But it was kind of cool. They were using the Rolo printer like I use, or a Dynamo printer, and they were using the thermal paper, which is really, really cheap. And they created their own template, and they were printing out. It was from Mercari, and they were just stickers that said Mercari all over it, and they were printing them out just hundreds of them at a time, and then sticking those on the boxes to kind of show. And that would be much cheaper, I think, than buying a roll of eBay tape. But kind of an interesting hack. Maybe give that a shot. Because you're not paying for ink on those Rolo printers, and those thermal paper labels, super cheap.
You know what? I think I may get a Rolo. The only thing I've heard about Rolos is that they are difficult to use when you do FBA labels. Like the FBA shipping labels. So, or maybe the smaller labels. I don't know which ones, but somehow. So
I found a way around that.
Wait. Did you do an
not
Amazon
FBA,
shipment? Okay. I thought you were about to tell me you finally sent out your Amazon box.
But the Rolo does have a problem, the UPS.
Okay.
They force you to use their printer style for they rent out printers for that. So we basically just make the label really big on our screen. We take a screenshot of the label and then print the screenshot, and it works just fine.
Nice. Okay. All right, that's our current topics. I just want to make sure, before we move on, everybody, if you do not know about the free supplies, go to USPS, I think it's .com or something. Just go to the post office website, go to their store. You can order padded flat rate. That's probably the best envelope you can get. You can order medium flat rate boxes, large flat rate boxes. There's these board game boxes that are flat rate too that you can order, and they're all free. They'll ship them to you. So just do it. All it takes is going on there and ordering it. It's free, and it'll show up to your house.
Yeah. Only bummer with those. And if you're Poshmark, those are what you want. Get as many of them as you can because Poshmark, the customer pays the shipping, and any size USPS box, those priority boxes, as long as it's under 5 pounds, you don't have to pay for shipping. So you can put it in a big box, small box, as long as it's USPS priority, you print out the label, stick it on there, and send it. But we've been using UPS quite a bit, and so unfortunately, we don't get to use those USPS boxes in that.
That is true. That is true. Okay, let's talk about our. Oh wait, before we get to our hustles of the week, we have some listener hustles of the week.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah,
it's been. Hey, by the way, thank you guys. Like we have a few today, right?
Yeah, I think we have 3 today to go over.
This might be our longest episode ever.
I think it is. Hopefully, you guys like that. I feel like our long episodes do good. I feel like people enjoy just being able to listen to us go a little deeper in things.
Either that or they just need some background noise while they're doing stuff.
Yeah, something to help you fall asleep.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, hey, you go first.
All right, cool. So before I do these, just to put out there, it's really great. We're getting hustles of the week through DM. We're getting hustles of the week, through email. These are all great. We love getting them this way. But it's also would be great if you give us a call.
Yes, and we actually set up our voicemail finally.
Yeah, it's finally set up.
So it's 619-738-1170.
That way we could just play it, right? It could be you talking on Pure Hustle Podcast. We'd love to hear you.
It'd be awesome. So again, 619-738-1170.
Yeah. And then as we keep getting more of these on here, we'd like to, obviously have the best ones on here. So we're sharing information. If you can just tag us like in a feed or a story, something like that on Instagram, that would be great too. That's a great way because not only...
And remember Twitter too. We're Pure Hustle Cast on Twitter.
Yeah. If you share it that way, it's nice because if we don't get to it right away or if it doesn't make an episode for whatever reason, it's still getting out there and we can blast it out there to the community.
Yeah, because it's not just for our show. It's like to help others
too.
Exactly. So there you go.
All right, so first one. This one comes from @VintageGamesPlus. I think is a local San Diego person, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's @vintage.games.plus.
@vintage.games.plus. So he sold a 13-inch MacBook Core Duo, and it sold overnight.
Oh, did you see what the model is?
2007.
2007.
That's old.
And he paid $20 for it. And where did he sell it?
Okay, so he sold it on Instagram. That's crazy, right? So
we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've never sold anything on Instagram. I never even really thought about doing that. But he buys it for $20, sells it on Instagram. The next day or that same night, it says overnight here. So I'm not sure if it was like...
No, he listed it that night, and then by the morning it was sold.
Wakes up and it's sold, right? So, hey, that's a great hustle. Good job.
And the way you do it is through PayPal.
Nice.
Like you just DM people and you give them your PayPal address, and then they just pay you.
Hey, that's perfect. Hey, great job, great pickup, and that works as your hustle kind of works as a bolo too. Don't pass on older MacBooks. They clearly hold some value.
And he also has some awesome video games. Like if you go to @vintage.games.plus, like I remember I was gonna pick up his GoldenEye that was there. And I didn't pick it up yet because I kind of
Is it N64 GoldenEye?
It is N64.
Oh, I played that game so much.
That is the game.
Is it?
To me.
I mean, I love the game, but
I had poor grades in college because of that game.
The golden gun, when you get that.
Oh, man. It's just like sneak attack from the side. Yeah. Loved it. Okay, Good times. Hey, thank you for sharing. So that's, I mean, think about that's a MacBook Core from 2007.
2007. Yeah.
So things still sell.
They sell.
All right, here's an interesting one. So this one's from it's El Borracho. You know what El Borracho means?
I've got no clue.
The drunk.
Oh, well, there we go.
All right. So now he has it. It's @EL_B0RRACHO0. Okay. And what he did is he sold some tarot cards. Does that creep you out a little bit?
It's not my thing. I've always, stayed away from, tarot cards and Ouija boards and stuff. Not personally my thing, but, I know there's a market for it.
Yeah. So let me share. Okay. Let me correct it. I messed up his handle. Let me fix it real quick. It is still El Borracho, but it's a complicated one. It's pretty creative though. EL_B0RRACH0. So there's no O's. If you think of an O, it's a 0. Okay, and he actually emailed us.
Yeah.
So if you haven't emailed us, purehustlepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, emails might be a little slower getting back on the email. Again, Insta feed, story, DMs, really great way. We'll get to you on the email too, but It's really nice when we could share it with everybody.
So listen to the story. He said, I bought this box at Goodwill, thought it looked cool, opened it, and it had these tarot cards in it. I don't know anything about this stuff, but figured it was unusual. So I'm ad-libbing a little bit. Okay. And for $4.99, then he had a 10% discount. And then he's like, I kind of didn't know if I wanted to bring this stuff home. And I get it, right? Like, it's kind of, for me, it's a little out there.
Mm.
Okay. But he did. And then he did some research and he noticed that they were vintage. And then he threw in a couple of quartz crystals in there to make it look like it was more like a fortune telling kind of thing.
Okay, so he added those himself?
Yeah, he went Poshmark on it a little
Genius.
bit. Okay. And then he says it worked because he started the auction at 30 with the buy it now. Oh, a buy it now of 30. And, with the buy it now. And then he can't really remember what the price was for buy it now, maybe 150. And so you know how you do auction
Right. Yep.
and then buy it now. And then it stood low all week. And then it got bid up to $43. And he was watching it as it was counting down. So it got down to the 20 seconds. Then the bid went up to 53. Then in about 3 seconds, it went up to $102.50.
Nice. I wonder if anybody saw that in his future.
And then it sold for that. And then a couple seconds later, he got payment.
Perfect. That's
like automatically. So he says, this is the first time, I don't know how long that I had posted something on eBay to sell. So he kind of went out, listened to our podcast, thought, you know what? I need to get back in the game. And he sold it.
No, that's awesome.
He goes, now I got bit by the eBay selling bug.
It'll happen. It'll happen to you. Now, here's what I wonder. I think that was great. The first items I sold on eBay, not saying that he hasn't sold anything before, but like the first few items I sold, I was doing auction. I remember I texted you. I'm like, hey, I sold some stuff. And you said, did you get bids? And I'm like, yeah, I got bids. And I think back to that, and I wonder, that was great for the fast nickel. I wonder what those cards could have got him if you'd have held off a little longer with just a buy it now, not an auction.
I mean, he maybe got top dollar for them because other people
felt
the urgency.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. In fact, I've seen a few people say the same thing, that they took items that had watchers on them, they put it up for auction at the buy it now price and sold it for more than the buy it now price was originally their original listing. So just putting it as an auction and changing it from buy it now to an auction, and they got higher than they were asking for.
Wow. Who knows? You just never know.
Yep, never know.
All right, I think we got one more.
One more. All right. This one is from @LunchMoneyHustle. Let me just say, that's probably the best name
I love
I've ever heard. That's amazing. Great job @LunchMoneyHustle. I think whoever you are, genius with the name. A little jealous that I didn't think about that. That's good.
Right.
That's great.
I like Pure Hustle Podcast.
Pure Hustle Podcast is great, but Lunch Money Hustle, that's good. All right, so at Lunch Money Hustle, bought a PlayStation 2, a sealed Marvel vs. Capcom, paid $2.99 at the Salvation Army. That's a good price.
Did you ever play Marvel vs. Capcom?
I think I played it when it was like the arcade. I don't know if I ever played it on. So it was
like Street Fighter, but then it was Marvel vs. Capcom. It was a pretty awesome game.
I never played it on the PlayStation. I know I played like that version, I think, at an arcade at one point. But
I remember that.
Yeah. So $2.99. That's an amazing deal. It said comps were going on Amazon, or at least the ones that were listed on Amazon were at $5.33. So none of them were selling on Amazon for cheaper than that because nobody had them listed for that.
I looked it up, and there was no FBA offers. So there's 3 merchant fulfilled going for $5.33.
Nice.
So I don't know what that means because then I looked at and it's a 22K rank. So it's been selling. I don't know if it's been selling. I didn't do enough. I should have looked on Keepa. So my apologies to all of you. Maybe you can look on Keepa. But on eBay, they're going for $50 plus.
Not bad for $2.99. That's no matter what. Huge.
Now,
ROI.
I personally think it's probably somewhere in the middle there. I don't know where it's at, but you never know. You end up being the only person with it, and somebody really wants it, and they're like me or you that remembers, and you had good memories. Like people are willing to drop that money.
Yeah, I mean, and again, if there's not a lot currently listed on eBay, throw it up there for a couple $100, right? And let people.
I want to share something really weird.
I'm nervous now.
No, it's not super weird. So when I was a kid, there was this toy called Mr. Talk Show Guy. Do you remember that thing?
No.
Some of you that are out there probably remember that. Maybe I want to post this on Insta. Maybe, do we need to go here? Anyways, one of the first things I did when I got on eBay, I looked this up because I remember having these really kind of cloudy childhood memories. And I remember I really loved this toy. And actually, I found it. I never purchased it. But anyways, I kind of I was at this place like I almost bought it. Right? And it's the same thing with this Marvel versus Capcom. Like somebody
The
out there
nostalgia. It's
will want to
real.
buy it. I mean, that's where we're at, right? Everybody who is now like in their 30s and 40s are willing to drop those dollars to get those things they couldn't get when they were
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's bizarre. I play a card game, Magic the Gathering, and I just bought a whole bunch of them for my nephew on an eBay lot, which I know is not the best way to get like the best cards, but it was super cheap. I bought a whole bunch of cards and I'm going through them. And for anybody that cares, the borders
Oh,
on all
I'm
of the
sure
cards
there's a
now.
ton of people out there that care.
The borders on the cards now are black around the outside of the cards. And back when I started playing when I was in junior high, they were white. And so when I got back into it a few years ago, I didn't even really much notice the difference. I was like, oh, cool, Magic the Gathering cards. And I bought this big set for my nephew, and I started looking through the cards, and there was probably like 30 of them in the set of 1,000 cards that had the white border, and it just brought me back. It was just
You
like
got these good
now
feelings.
now I just want to go on eBay and buy white border cards, even if they're terrible, just because it's like I remember playing with these cards. Like these were the ones, And yeah, people will pay for those memories.
Yeah. So there you go. So hey, thank you all three of you that sent us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
At vintage.games.plus, at El Borracho, and at Lunch Money Hustle. Follow them if you're not on Instagram. Take a look at what they have and what their content is. And we're just appreciative. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you. What about you? What was your hustle?
Oh, man. So my hustle is a hustle, but it's like a two-part. And I don't want to go too much into it. It's in Instagram. It happened a couple weeks ago. You got to look for one where I bought a bunch of N64 games, and the post before that is about this train set. So let me talk about this train set. So it's kind of crazy. So I don't know, 2 weeks ago, garage selling, and it's Saturday, and it's like 9:40 or something. And I bought a few things, like some Legos and some other items, but my trunk wasn't full. And my son was with me, and we're having a good old time. But I thought, hey, let's just check this one. And this one was actually like super close to my house. I'm talking about like 2 minutes away. And usually the way I do my garage sales is I go far away
and come home,
and I'll do the ones by my house like last.
Yep.
Right. And so I wasn't expecting much. So I show up, and there's like this table. And on this table, there's a whole bunch of like railroad stuff. And I usually pass those up. Like I've come across a lot of that stuff, and it looks old, but then when you start researching it, you're like, that's not worth a lot. What was crazy was the first one I picked up, I researched, and it's like, I don't know, $200 to $300, almost $400
for one car.
For one of the cars.
Nice.
Like one, okay? Like I'm talking about one, and there's like, I don't know, 20 to 30 on this table, right? So I asked the guy, I go, hey, no one's picked these up? He goes, no. Nobody, I mean, some people looked at it, and I go, I did my line, like, you're sentimentally attached to these, aren't you? You always bug me about that. Yeah. I was re-listening to one of our episodes.
I get it. It's a sentimental attachment.
But it was, and I could tell, like, he really cared about those trains, but his wife was like, buy them. Like, just buy them.
And then so that from that point on, you started negotiating with the wife,
I honestly was a little torn because they looked pretty awesome, these trains. And I started looking up, and some were going for 20, 30, some were going for 100. I mean, and there's like 30 of them, right? And so I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And I go, what are you looking at to sell these for? And he goes, $300. I'm like, what? Like, I could sell one and I'm good.
So that was his offer. How much did you talk him down?
I got him down to 263.
That's pretty good.
And I paid him 265 because I didn't have change.
Why 263? Like, why not just 265?
Because I kept haggling. Like, I had to haggle us for as much. So we went.
So you haggled to a point where you couldn't even pay. So you had to go up.
So I just felt bad because I could tell. And here's what's crazy. So, one of the trains is going for, I want to say I'm probably going to sell it for $300 to $400.
Wow.
And then 5 or 6 of them are going to go for like 100 or more. And then there's a few others that are going to go from like 20 to 50. Then there's like, I guess in this train set, there's like a house, and there's some trees, and there's like a factory. So those are going to go for some money too. And then he says, hey, you know what? Let's go downstairs. I got some more.
Nice.
So we go downstairs, and he has the boxes for all of these. So the value is going to go up too. then he goes, "Hey, I got all these tracks." And today, actually, I posted this on Insta, about 100 pounds of tracks. And so I looked this up on eBay, and like some people are selling them like in lots of like 8 to 10. And they're going for like $30 to $40 for like 8 to 10 pieces.
Holy cow.
Okay. So I'm like, this is wild. And so I keep, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. And I don't know where this is gonna land. We're talking about big money once I'm done with this. So I already sold a piece. Okay. And so the one piece I sold was a transformer, and it's not working. And I sold it for $45 plus like $20 shipping. So think about it. I already a little less than a quarter of what I paid for it, I already sold.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's I'm not gonna beat you on that hustle.
So that was hustle. Oh wait, it doesn't end. Then I come back later to return the totes that I borrowed, and I see an N64 and video games, and controllers, and no one's there. And I asked his wife, I'm like, "Hey, would you guys be willing to sell that too?" She goes, "I don't know. My husband's at work. I don't know." So I pull out my business card and I say, "Hey, give me a call. But you know, if worse comes worse, I'll just be one of the first ones the next morning because this was a 2-day sale." I'm the first person there. Whoa! I gotta rewind a little bit. After I bought the train set, another guy showed up and starts looking, and I look at him. I go, "I already bought those." And he goes, "You bought all of these?" I'm like, "Yep, I bought all of them." "How much do you pay for that?" And I told him, he's like, "Oh my, like you got a score." So think about it. Like within 5 minutes, I could have lost out on somebody else.
Yep.
Okay, so back to the video game thing. So next day I go back, and sure enough, he has not only that, he has a Dreamcast and he has an Xbox. He wouldn't let me walk away without paying for all of it.
Okay, you wanted to bundle it.
So I bundled it all, and man, that was another score. I mean,
that's awesome.
That's probably hustle of the summer.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
a good deal.
I'm waiting for a deal like that. I mean, I've had a lot of great items where I've paid, $4 or $5 and made over 100, but I have not found several $1,000s worth of net profit yet.
Crazy. So we'll keep you guys posted on how the sales go.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Okay, tell me about yours real quick.
Okay, so mine's maybe a little strange because it's technically not reselling related. Is that okay?
That's fine.
And I think it's okay to mention it because you did mention that you wanted to bring on people who hustle in other ways.
Okay.
Because hustle the week, sometimes it's reselling, sometimes it's other things. There's multiple ways to be out there hustling and making money and saving money. Here's one. And I remember I talked to you about me starting this several months ago.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember, but I started that Diet Bet program. You remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Diet Bet, for those of you who don't know, it's this app, website thing, and you can participate in games where you have to lose a certain percentage of body fat in a certain amount of time. And you have to take pictures of yourself and on a scale, and every month you do weigh-ins. And I participated in 3 games. 2 of them were 1 month long, and then one of them was a long 6-month one. That was like my big one. And I think my total investment was, I think I paid like $160 or something to participate in all 3 games. But I knew I wanted to lose weight anyways, right? Like this is something I wanted to do. I was like, I looked at the numbers. The big game was 10% in 6 months. I was like, I can do that, right? Like that's about where I want to be anyways. So it was motivation for me, right? Like I've already paid $160. If I lose the weight, I'm guaranteed my money back plus more. If I don't lose the weight, well, I lose some of this money. So that's motivation to lose the weight.
Yeah.
Well, I lost the weight. And not only did I make all of my money back, which they guarantee it, like if you lose the weight you say you're going to lose, you get your money back. So not only did I get all of the money back that you initially put in, but I came out with over $180 profit.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a 6-month process. So it wasn't like an overnight like cha-ching, but I was going to lose the weight anyways, right? Like that was my plan to lose some weight. So
you improved your health.
I improved my health.
Improved your wallet.
Yep. Both at the same time. There was motivation to keep going. I remember, talking to my wife like, oh, I don't want to eat this tonight because I got to lose the weight, got to weigh in 3 days.
There's money on the line.
There's money on the line, right? So I am not recommending anybody to be on like any kind of diet plan or to try and lose weight if that's not where you should be in life. But if you're already in a place where you're like, I want to lose some weight, I want to, get, healthy, I want to be, whatever that is, if that's something you're already going to do, make money while you're doing it, right?
That's awesome.
So
That is
$180 in my pocket and, 15, 20 pounds later. It's not
good
too
for
bad.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for you. All right. That was definitely an interesting hustle.
Interesting. Yeah, I know.
All right. So now we got to get to Bolo. We're finally at Bolos.
Bolo.
So this is
Bolo.
I think we beat our record of longest podcast.
I think it's good. Hopefully you're still listening.
I know, right? Hey, hopefully you have so many sales that you're still packing and you have to listen.
Yep. Listen while you pack.
There you go. All right.
It could be a song. Listen while you pack.
Okay, you know what? I think we got to move
We're getting tired, huh?
We already got
Starting
quotes
to talk,
going.
getting crazy.
And now you're singing like some Snow White stuff.
It's not Snow White. It's
The Dwarves.
The Pure Hustle podcast song.
Okay. All right. Bolo of the week. What's your Bolo?
What's my Bolo? All right. I don't think I've talked about this before. I think I've talked about sealed products before, of course, but when I was out of Egypt, I found there were, and I found
it still cracks me up out of Egypt.
Out of Egypt, I found multiple. They were Kodak printer ink cartridges sealed, right?
Okay.
In the box sealed. And this is probably the fourth time that I found like this brand, the Kodak brand for like this specific printer. And every time I've picked them up, they sell within like 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice.
For
like good profit?
For really good profit. I was at one garage sale a couple months ago and I picked up a bag full of them. I think there was like 10 of them in the bag.
Okay.
And I paid $5 for the whole bag and each one sold for like $25, $20 to $25. Wow. And then yeah, I think I bought.
Are they expired or are they like current?
I don't know. Do they expire?
I don't know. People sell expired ink. That's why I ask.
I mean, I take pictures. I haven't heard anything back on any of them. I guess maybe I should double check that next time. So my Bolo has turned into maybe an uh-oh.
No, it's not an uh-oh because people will buy expired ink. But I think you're good.
But yeah, so I mean.
As long as you list that it's expired.
Yeah, actually disclose that.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. So if you're out and you see non-expired ink, pick it up.
Or expired. Just look up comps. Just make sure you look up comps and make sure you're clear in the description of what you have.
And while you're doing that, if you're looking at computer ink, because I see them at Salvation Armies and Goodwills all the time, a lot of times they'll be the big toner cartridges.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times they're the off-brand. Okay, so if it's like an off-brand ink version.
Seen you sell those.
I've sold a few. But if it's the off-brand and it says like for Canon, blah, 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 or works for, they do not sell for as much as if they're the authentic Canon.
Oh, no, that's true.
So make sure the off-brand is okay, but the comps are going to be much, much, much
I don't know
lower.
if I would even make the off-brand a Bolo. Would you make it a Bolo?
I would say be on the lookout for ink, sealed ink, probably not expired, maybe expired. If it's off-brand, be very, very picky. Make sure that it's selling. Maybe it's a unique printer. That they, aren't making ink for anymore. But yeah, stay away from the off-brand for the most part. Try and find the on-brand ink.
Okay, I would say go on-brand because, I don't know, the off-brand scares me.
It does.
And here's why. Let me give you an example. So, I still use an old Epson printer, and I buy knockoff brands all the time for it. And sometimes my Epson will say, update firmware. So, I'll update the firmware, and then all my knockoff ink cartridges that are in there no longer work. It'll say like these aren't genuine. Please buy genuine Epson ink. So you got to be careful because what'll happen is, you might sell something and somebody will pick it up thinking it's awesome, and within a week, like they can't use it anymore.
But I feel like people understand that when they're buying off-brand ink.
No, I know. All it takes is one buyer, right, to kind of give you a headache.
Yeah.
Or you just keep moving.
I don't know. I mean, I feel. I'm just gonna say, I mean, this is on top, but it has nothing to do with selling it. Ink is a racket, man. Ink is so cheap. It's so cheap. You can buy the refill ink, which is the exact same stuff that you can get in the other cartridges for like pennies for full tubes of it. And it won't work in the cartridges because, like you said, they want the genuine, and the genuine is a chip that they put on there that says yes or no. The companies are making sure you buy from them. And they can charge an arm and a leg for it. What a racket, man.
And that's why you're going to resell it.
Yeah, resell it.
Okay, all right. So my Bolo, and I don't know, I kind of feel guilty sharing this Bolo, but I want to share this Bolo because I think there's more money in it. And go with me here. So I don't know if you remember, like a few weeks ago, about all these like Tommy Bahama like new shirts that were like sports themed, right? And it's funny because on the Insta story I put like, "Would you pick these up?" And pretty much everyone said no, but they've all been selling. And it's baseball, so I'm selling baseball items in September.
Nice.
Okay. And I've noticed, like in the thrift stores, a lot of the Rain Spooner or the Tommy like sports themed items like are gone. Like, and I don't know if it's because they're going on Goodwill's website. I don't know if because people aren't donating them anymore. I don't know, but my guess is the prices on those items are going to start rising. Right? Because these Tommy Bahama shirts, I thought were going to take me a long time because Tommy Bahama. You know, I've already sold over half of that inventory for good money.
Wow.
And I just threw it on Insta. Goes, hey, wonder where this is gonna land, and they've been selling.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna throw it out there again. Look for sports themed Hawaiian shirts.
Yep, I sold one. Not a Tommy Bahama.
Oh, the Padres one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're Tommy, if they're Rain Spooner, if they're even Kahala, like they will sell for money. Nice. And I don't feel bad sharing this because they're so rare. Like it's not like everybody's gonna rush to the thrift store and find them. Right? I mean, chances of you finding them, I don't think are very high.
You got to work. You got to hustle. Maybe you'll find them. I go into thrift stores all the time. I have yet to find a Rain Spooner.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy. And because the way you made it sound when I first started this is like, yeah, I pick these up all the time.
I did. And now it's like hardly ever. And I don't know. Maybe it's because the market is flooded and there's a bunch of resellers. Or maybe because for a reason people are holding on to them or not donating or whatever. I don't know. But be on the lookout because those will, especially now that we're getting into Q4, they will. I mean, we're talking about some shirts will sell for like $100 used. So keep an eye.
I will be keeping an eye out.
Okay. All right. So, hey, we got to get this wrapped up. But before we do, we're not wrapped up yet. Let's talk about what are we looking forward to?
What are we looking forward to? Let's see. You know, I've got... we've already done a lot in my garage, but we still have another shelving unit to build, and we don't have it set up the way we envision it 100% yet. So over the next, couple of weeks, I want to get a full photo booth kind of set up. I want to organize things a little bit better. I want it to feel like a place that I enjoy being in and working, that's organized, easy to pull stuff out. And it's kind of cool watching it transform into our vision of what it is. Part of that is I want to have like a testing station with, a receiver and some speakers and a small little TV so I can hook things up and test various things. I am so jealous.
Like you are definitely going next level.
It's got to be, man. It's all or nothing. Go big or go home.
Good for you.
Oh, I got another quote. Next week.
Come on. Really? Go big? Come on.
Okay. That's not the quote.
All right. So I'm impressed. Like we should like show some videos. Like what you've been doing.
Yeah, no, I will. I took some before pictures. I was thinking about doing a time-lapse video of us working in there, but it's one of those things where we were sweaty and grimy and we just wanted to work, and I said, I'll take an after picture. But yeah, we'll post those up.
Okay, but people want to see you real, right? You got to be real.
All right. I'll send you some videos of me all sweaty and working in the garage if you want it.
I don't know if I want it, but okay. All right. So mine is I want to get all those trains listed.
That's a task, man.
It is going to be a task. Like I had plans tonight to even get all those what do you call it? What are they called again? What was that Bixie Totes? Rails?
What?
The train tracks.
The Lionel?
The Lionel train tracks. I don't know why that I don't know what's going on. But okay. So those train tracks, that's going to be a burden in itself. Right? Because it's about 100 pounds. I don't want to ship those 100 pounds. And I'll do local pickup. So my goal is to list every single one of those trains because that transformer sold within 3 days of me listing. So I think the same is going to happen with the rest of the trains. So that's my hope.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see. So keep us, updated. Keep us accountable. Let us know. Okay. Hey, so we got to end this episode. We've got super long. How long have we gone?
I don't know. I think we're like hour and 20 minutes. Something
wow.
Like that.
Okay. All right. Hey,
I hope you guys are still listening.
Yeah, please listen. Hey, show us some love on YouTube. Like if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to us and then hit that little bell so you get notified. Put some comments, like some of our videos. That would be great.
Yeah, and then you can see how much weight I lost.
Put those guns away, Mike. All right. So, hey, always continue following us on Instagram. We are Pure Hustle Podcast. On Facebook, we are Pure Hustle Podcast. On Twitter, we are Pure Hustle Cast. On email, we're purehustlepodcast@gmail.com. On the phone, we are 619-738-1170. Don't forget about our t-shirt giveaway. Anything else I missed?
Be real.
Be relevant.
Be reselling.
Late.
Boo.